So this is my lab number 3 sedimentary rocks blog video. As you can see, I have all of my samples, bags of different type of sediments, rocks out. Got some of my kit for testing the minerals, which I actually just found, so I never used them in my other 2 lab videos. So I've got, my glass, my nail, my magnet, my ceramic, my loop to look at the grain size. So this would be me going over lab number 6 and identifying these different bags for the test online. So I believe we're going to start with the bags, it looks like. So I can sit around this bag. So here I have several different bags. I'm not going to empty them out on my table. I believe I can see them pretty easily through the bag or just by opening them. So we will start with A and work our way down to E. So A definitely seems to be finer than B. Can't really tell from the jeweler's loop about the grain sizes, but it looks to be mostly silt, but it does have some larger grains in here, which is, this bag is probably going to be the sand and silt combination. You can definitely tell the silt because it is much finer, more like a talcum powder consistency than the sand. So you can kind of pick out the larger sand grains in here as it's not very uniform. Bag B is definitely much coarser than bag A. Just feeling inside of it. It's definitely grainy. Definitely doesn't seem as smooth or as silky as bag A. And also when you look in here and reflect on the light, you can see a lot of reflective minerals in here, which is probably quartz or silica, I'd imagine. So this bag, bag B, is going to be sand. Bag C is very easily identifiable. There's lots of different rocks in this one. Bag C is pretty obviously the gravel bag. Bag D might be even more obvious to figure out. Obviously this bag is going to be the bag of clay, as you can tell. Bag E is going to be our mix of gravel, sand, and silt. This definitely resembles bags B and C, kind of got mixed up. It's definitely not just silt, as you can see much larger grains of sand mixed in with this, but there is some silt in here as well as the larger pieces of obvious gravel on the top. Okay, now I guess we will go on to our lab samples. I believe these are all rocks. I don't know if I have any minerals in here. Yeah, they all appear to be rocks. So I actually won't need my mineral testing tools, but I will use my loop to identify a couple of these. So again, I'm just going to put these in order. It looks like I will work my way from 11 to number 17. So 11 has a semi-rough but mostly smooth texture. Under the loop, you can see some larger grains in here, what appears to be some veinage, but you can definitely tell some large quartz grains in here, just from the texture and the quartz, as well as, I don't know if you'll be able to pick this up on camera, but you can kind of see the striations in here. This is going to be quartz sandstone. Number 12 is actually a pretty easy one to identify. I can streak it, and it's going to leave a nice black streak on there. but just between the texture, the glossy luster of it, the streak test, this is coal. Let's see, number 13 definitely sets itself apart from the other ones. It's definitely not as uniform as any of the other samples. There seems to be a lot mixed in here. Let's see, the grains are very wildly in size. Seems to be several different rocks all mashed up into one, meaning that this is going to be your conglomerate sample. Oh, number 14. 14 has some pretty obvious fossil molds, I believe. Looks like maybe from some old shells, some old sea life. This is definitely very light as well. I've already performed the acid test on some of these, and this one did fizzle, so this one is going to be the Fossil-Furious limestone, as you can tell from all the fossil molds. Now 15, you can tell that 15 and 14 are extremely similar between the cleavage angles and things like that, except number 15 does not have any fossil molds in it, but during the acid test it also did fizzle slightly, and based on the color and the texture and the grain size inside, this one is limestone but without the fossil molds. As you can tell, again, they are very, very similar. Um, 16 is a little bit different than some of the other ones. Has very angular cleavage on it. Definitely breaks in some interesting planes. But this one, looking like the different materials inside of it, as you can tell. I believe this one is going to be our shale sample. Or actually, that's chert. I'm sorry, that is not shale. 16 is chert. 17, as you can see, the way it cleaves, the angles and everything on it, the color, the very smooth texture it has on it. The grains are very hard to see even through the loop. Very deep compactation. This last sample, number 17, is going to be the shale sample. And that'll do it for my sample testing for lab number 3, sedimentary rocks.